What's up everyone? Now today on our video, our focus will be on Thor's grandfather as we journey to the intriguing realm of Asgard. You heard right, Thor's grandpa, Odin's father, King Bor. As the all-father of Asgard, Bor is revered as one of the most significant figures in Asgardian and Marvel history. But many of you might need to be more familiar with the character, and that's why we are back with another marvelous video. Stick with us until the end to learn everything you need to know about Bor. So let's begin. But just before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. It's just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you very much. Now let's begin. Who is King Bor? According to Asgardian lore, Bor belonged to a royal family and proved to be an exceptional warrior from a young age. His accomplishments on the battlefield earned him the title of Bor the Butcher, and he quickly rose to become the leader of the Asgardian army. After his father Buri stepped down from the throne, Bor assumed leadership and became Asgard's second ever ruler. With his natural aptitude for combat, he guided his people through an era of strength and success, gaining their allegiance through his prowess both as a commander and a warrior. He was among the deities who utilized the Galactus Seed to construct the cosmos, and in addition to his other achievements, he was an unwavering and mighty sovereign. The character was first introduced in the last story of the comic book titled The Journey into Mystery, issue 97. The story was called Tales of Asgard, the home of the mighty Norse gods, where a few ancient myths of Asgard were told. Over there, we saw Bor marrying the giantess named Bestla. Together, the couple had 4 sons, whose names were Kull, Vili, Vi, and Odin. Of these, Odin was his preferred heir and was groomed to succeed him as king. Bor mentored Odin in various skills such as combat, leadership, and the protection of his aspirations, much like Odin would do for his own son, Thor. However, Bor didn't pressure Odin with his own aspirations, so he became furious when Odin defied him. When Odin created humans, despite his inability to undo Odin's actions, Bor vented his anger by inflicting unspeakable horrors against them. When Asgard faced another threat from their enemies, Bor and his son Odin led their forces into battle. Together, they proved to be too formidable for the Frost giants, defeating them with ease. However, when one of the giants attempted to escape, Bor, in his typical fashion, pursued the enemy and fell into a trap. A powerful sorcerer, who was actually Loki in disguise, was waiting for him and turned him into snow, knowing that he couldn't match Bor's powers directly. Odin arrived just in time to witness the end of his father as the snow drifted away. Bor implored Odin to seek out the sorcerer who could free him. Despite Bor's pleas, Odin didn't make any attempt to rescue him and instead focused on leading Asgard and pursuing his own aspirations. As time passed and Odin had a son of his own, Bor realized that Odin would never free him. Fueled by anger and a desire for revenge, Bor made a deal with Odin that if he raised the son of a deceased king as his own, Bor would no longer trouble him. Shortly after, Odin killed Loki's father, who was a king, and took Loki in as his own to fulfill his end of the bargain. However, Odin was unaware that the Bor who had been tormenting him from the afterlife was only an illusion created by Loki, as revealed much later. King Bor's marvelous story arcs. Grandfather versus grandson. In the current timeline, Loki, who is reborn as a woman after the events of Ragnarok, utilized her powers to reverse spells that turned Bor into snow and resurrected him. However, Loki also manipulated his perception of reality to make it appear as if Bor was in a nightmarish version of Earth, overrun by demonic creatures. As a result, Bor immediately went out on a rampage and was eventually confronted by Thor, who didn't recognize him. From Bor's distorted perspective, Thor appeared to be a demonic being, and he believed that Thor had killed Odin due to the Odin force emanating from him. So obviously Bor attacked Thor, and a massive battle ensued in the middle of the New York City streets. During the battle, Bor gained the upper hand as Thor attempted to subdue him without killing him. He knew that he needed assistance to stop Bor without taking his life, so he cried out, our favorite war chant from the MCU, Avengers Assemble, to the sky. However, the responders to his call were not the heroes he had in mind. Instead, Bor and Thor were confronted by the Dark Avengers, who attacked both of them upon their dramatic arrival. Despite their efforts, Bor and Thor together proved to be too powerful for the Dark Avengers, and they were easily defeated, leaving only the latter to fight the former. Despite being exhausted from the prolonged fight, Bor and Thor continued exchanging blows, refusing to give up. However, the situation escalated when Bor unleashed his full power. a deadly storm that could potentially destroy the world. During the battle, Mjolnir had been separated from Thor, and he had to fight his way through the strong energy bolts and hurricane force winds to finally retrieve it. With Mjolnir back in his possession, Thor was able to halt the storm created by Bor's power. Finally, both combatants faced each other with the intent to strike the fatal blow. Eventually, Thor emerged as the winner, and at that moment, Loki and Balder arrived, informing Thor of the identity of his opponent. Upon learning this, Thor was overwhelmed with shock and sadness, but unfortunately it was too late, as Bor had already passed away. Reincarnation and further adventures. After Thor killed Bor, a member of the royal family, he was exiled from Asgard permanently. The punishment was that if he ever returned, he and his allies would be killed. However, after the event known as Siege, Thor was pardoned by Balder and was allowed to return to Asgard to live among his fellow Asgardians once again. But we know what happens in comic stories, right? Dead people can always return, especially when one is a god. So the character made his return in 2010's Avengers Prime Issue 4. Hela brought back Bor from the dead to lift the spell on Mjolnir. However, she tricked him by saying that his bloodline had ended and that he had to lift the hammer. Bor tried to lift the hammer but failed, and he figured out that Hela had lied about Thor's death. He confronted Hela, but she banished him and his body turned into dust. Next, the character of Bor was seen in New Mutants Volume 3, Issue 43, where Bor travelled to San Francisco after being brought up from hell to officiate the wedding of Sigurd and the Disir. It was uncovered that Bor had actually cursed the Disir because they were more interested in having sexual desires for men than carrying out their duties. It was believed their curse could only be broken if they either wed or killed Sigurd, whom Bor blamed for their disloyalty. During the ceremony, Danny protested against the enslavement of the Disir and asked Bor to end his curse. In response, Bor attacked Danny, causing the Disir to turn against him. The fight continued with Danny injuring Bor and causing him to return to hell. The Disir and Danny followed him, but Mephisto refused to help them, revealing his true nature. In hell, Bor was cornered by the Disir, but Loki tricked him into lifting the curse in order to save himself. Bor complied, and the Disir were restored to their original form. Hela then sent the Disir to escort Bor back to her castle for punishment. Bor's connection to the Marvel's 7th Infinity Stone. In the new Thor comic book series, Marvel had disclosed that there is an additional Infinity Stone in the cosmos, known as the Black Infinity Stone, which is currently held by Thanos. However, it will soon be unveiled that the 7th Infinity Stone is closely linked to an iconic character from the Marvel Universe. It all started when Thor had a premonition of Thanos being resurrected with an army of undead soldiers wielding Mjolnir, which had Infinity Stones embedded into it in one hand and the Black Infinity Stone gauntlet in the other. This vision prompted Thor to embark on a quest to find the Black Infinity Stone and prevent Thanos from returning, as depicted in Thor issue 29. The story takes a different route in issue 31 to 33, which is the last issue to be released until now and is named The Blood of the Fathers. Let us go back to the past and try to find the root of this narrative. Several ages ago, Thor's grandfather Bor secured a repository located in a desolate, unexplored region of Niflheim that could only be unlocked using his blood. Thor became aware of this fact when his younger sister, Lausa Odinsdóttir, was abducted to act as the key. After rescuing Lausa, Thor himself unlocked the vault to uncover the secrets that his grandfather had concealed. Inside the vault was a temporal storm, a turbulent vortex containing elements from the past, present and future. Among them was a teenage version of Lausa who warned her brother not to gaze into the time storm, but it was too late. Thor had already observed his future self committing an unspeakable act. In addition to cautioning him about the future, Lausa also urged Thor to address the recent vanishing of all souls from Valhalla. Thor and Valkyrie traveled to Hell to investigate, but found the realm to be empty of souls, with its rulers, Hela and Karnilla, missing as well. Following a skirmish with Nidhogg, the devourer of souls, Odin's spirit vanished from Mjolnir. Thor and Valkyrie pursued Nidhogg to Latveria, where they discovered that Dr. Doom had captured Hela, along with a whirlpool of the missing souls of the deceased, and an army of mindless Latverians was poised to confront Thor upon his arrival. Issue 33 divulges the enigmatic history of the Black Stone through a narrative that switches back and forth between Doctor Doom's present-day effort to recreate the powerful artifact and Thanos' initial endeavour to acquire the Black Stone in the distant past. Bor, Odin's father, actually fashioned the legendary object using the souls of the Asgardian deceased as a source of energy, which we find out later. The important point to grasp here is that in the Donny Cates run on Guardians of the Galaxy, Thanos was thrown into a gravity well. In the narrative, the gravity well was treated as a temporal vortex, a portal through space and time. As a result, when Thanos fell into the gravity well, he was sent back to ancient days of Asgard and Bor. Soon, Bor became cognizant of the fact that Thanos had been present all along. However, what's interesting to note is that Bor wasn't bothered or preoccupied by Thanos' presence. That tells us Bor was not scared of the Mad Titan, even after his sorcerers told him that Thanos will come to acquire the Seventh Stone. Ultimately, in the past story arc, when Thanos reaches the forge where Bor's sorcerers finished the creation process, he does not find the Black Stone as expected. Instead, he encounters a recently born baby with dark hair and pitch black eyes. This could be none other than Hela. No, wait, hear us out. Hela may represent the embodiment of the Death Infinity Stone. This theory gains support from an initial synopsis of Thor issue 35, which teases the long-awaited unveiling of Hela's enigmatic origins. The summary also features an image of an adult Hela wielding an infinity gauntlet containing the Black Stone. Hela's involvement in the narrative, having been captured by Doctor Doom but subsequently liberated by Thor in issue 33, appears to be intertwined with Doom's endeavour to recreate the Black Stone by utilising the souls he pilfered from Hela's realm, Hell. However, if the revelation that Hela is, in fact, a living Infinity Stone proves true, it would constitute a significant alteration to the character's established lore. Fans of Marvel are aware that the Infinity Stone can bond with living beings, so if Hela is revealed to be a living Infinity Stone, it would fit well within the established lore and could provide closure for unresolved plot threads. The thread about whether Hela is the Infinity Stone or possesses it remains a mystery for Thor fans, but regardless, the revelation is highly anticipated. Or I'm totally wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. I guess we'll have to wait for 2 more issues to find out. King Bor in Thor: The Dark World. Bor's character makes his silver screen debut in the 2013 MCU movie titled Thor: The Dark World and was portrayed by actor Tony Curran. In this narrative, Bor, who succeeded his father Buri, was the second king of Asgard, just like in the comics. His reign coincided with the convergence of the 9 realms, a cosmic event that occurred over 5,000 years, during which he led his people through the first Dark Elf conflict. The conflict arose when Malekith, the king of the Dark Elves, sought to use a powerful ancient weapon called the Ether to plunge the universe back into darkness. The war resulted in heavy losses for both sides, but the Asgardians ultimately won, despite Malekith deploying his most elite warriors, the Cursed. Using the Bifrost Bridge, Bor seized the Ether from Malekith and prevented him from abusing its power. However, in a last-ditch effort, Malekith dropped almost his entire air fleet onto the Asgardian army, causing chaos and death on both sides and allowing him to escape with the remaining army members. Bor later died in an unmentioned war in Asgard, and his son Odin succeeded him as the king. How powerful is King Bor? Bor possesses immense magical power that can rival or even exceed the Odin Force. This power enhances all his natural abilities to a significant extent and grants him control over all the elements. He can also emit powerful energy blasts from his eyes that can harm Thor and cause large-scale environmental disasters. Bor is also worthy of wielding Mjolnir, is a skilled fighter with a war axe, and he can also levitate. Bor's status as a Skyfather grants him immense strength, speed and durability, enabling him to lift over 100 tons and even match an Odin Force Thor in combat. Despite hardly any feats showcasing his weaknesses, Bor's personality flaw lies in his pride and arrogance, possibly stemming from his status as a Skyfather. He is convinced that no one can match his strength and boasts about this, showing little regard for his own safety. Although Bor can still be injured, despite his high level of durability, his Asgardian metabolism enables him to heal from most injuries much faster than the average human or even other Asgardians. Marvelous verdict. That brings us to the end of the video. In general, King Bor was a captivating and intricate personality whose influence still affects the Marvel Comics universe to this day. His bravery, intelligence, and selflessness motivate anyone striving to safeguard their community and enhance the world. Additionally, his significance is further emphasized by the fact that he is the grandfather of one of the most powerful members of the Avengers. That says something, right? So what do you think about Bor? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you liked the video, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to us, and share us with all your friends. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for your time. Take care, everyone.